Hey guys, it's Francisco from Nichemates, and in today's video I would like to follow up on last week's video in which we talked about our new service offering that is called the AI Tech Audits. And in last week's video we talked about the concept around AI Tech Audits, and in today's video I would like to dive deeper into the actual process around it and show you how we went from our first brainstorming session, what we came up during that, through or over the first prototype, the first like MVP, so to say, of this process, to what actually came out in the end. You already saw the overall image of the process last week, especially if you read the article. And now we are going to trace back a little bit and see which steps we took to arrive at that point. Let me share my Figma board with you guys. So here it is. This is the first iteration, basically, that we came up with. We had the idea that we wanted to improve our service offering, and we thought about what skills do we have, what can we offer our customers that would provide incremental value and that we could spin out in follow-up projects. And so all of us at Nichemates, we have a technology background, or most of us at least. And if we don't have a technology background, we kind of grew into it, and we use a lot of technology every day, and we understand how technology can be used to simplify a bunch of processes, and how we can use automation tools like Zapier and similar to concatenate a whole bunch of steps, to automate them, make them easier, and get more things done in a shorter amount of time. So the overall process that we came up with is pretty much the same. It's pretty generic, you could say, to what we're doing now. So the overall process between what you're seeing here below, this is the first iteration, and what we ended up with, that's down here, when it comes to that, is overall is pretty aligned with what we're seeing here. So we do a technology assessment with the customer. We have a survey. We answer a bunch of critical questions. We analyze the answers that the customer gave us. If there's any information missing, we ask follow-up questions and make sure that we have everything together. We identify weak points in the business process in the end that the customer gives us, and we of course ask the customer which perceived pain points they already have, to see where we can leverage our skills to remedy those pain points, and then we draft an action plan. And we map out a roadmap for the customer, and ideally we would also be involved in implementing that roadmap, and the action plan that follows out of that roadmap. And that's like the process that we came up with in the beginning. And then the initial idea was to do a tech audit, a general tech audit that was kind of compartmentalized into these 6 overarching categories. That was very holistic. It was a very holistic approach. We tried to do too much at this point. With this approach, we would kind of have to map out the entire business process in a lot of detail, and we would have to spend a lot of time with things that, or at a process step, at a point in time with the customer where the customer might not be inclined to spend this much time yet with us. So we took the best parts of this very detailed interview process to map out the business processes and focus just on technology, and specifically with AI, because AI, of course, is a kind of a catchphrase right now, but when we implement AI, we actually do implement AI. We actually use the technology. Sometimes you hear of companies, they kind of swindle a little bit and they say it's AI, but in the end, it's an if-else statement. It's like a rule-based, it's more like a rule-based approach to solve a solution. If we say we use something, we actually do. And this goes to say that not every client needs AI in their solution. It's using AI in the name for the product just captures the audience that we want to reach. And in this case, because AI is this big technology change right now, we reach, by naming it this, we reach the people who want to change their business for the better with new technology. If it really is AI, at the end of the day, usually customer doesn't really care unless they have already a very specific product or process optimization step in mind that they want to solve with AI, and specifically generative AI these days, of course. But we also can provide machine learning solutions or just automation solutions, depending on where a customer is in their life cycle. Not every business is going to benefit from generative AI. For example, if you go to a laundromat and you do an AI tech audit with them, it's probably going to be hard to come up with AI solutions for that, even though probably not impossible. I haven't thought about it too much. It's just the first thing that popped into my mind right now. But there's certainly a whole bunch of process that and tasks that need to be done in a laundromat business that probably don't necessarily need AI, and where you could already optimize the business with much simpler things like automation software, or pulling away from pen and paper. Some businesses still operate like this, pen and paper to a digital digital system, or away from emails. A lot of agencies still work via email, and they have trouble coordinating all their stakeholders. So implementing a very effective project management solution, something like that could potentially be a much bigger lever to pull than implementing AI. Right. So after looking at these big 6 overarching topics, we condense them into a much simpler flow, which is down here. It's essentially the same, although we don't go into as much detail. So we reserve the process over here that we have already roughly mapped out for deep dives that we would do in a secondary analysis. For example, if you have a business that has quite complex business processes, maybe a larger company, then you would do the general AI tech audit to get a sense for the business, for its different components, how they work together on a high level. And then you would need to go into a deep dive analysis for one specific step in their value creation chain, or zoom into one of their business units to map that out in detail. And then you can help those guys particularly, while you still made in the first iteration, you still did the AI tech audit, so you have the high level view. Then you zoom into one of the business units, you start solving their problems, but you keep in mind that there is this meta level where things need to be able to work together. So if we then move on to the next business unit, we already have it in mind on a higher level, that the solution that we built for the first business unit has to work together with the rest of the company. And we would always try to keep it simple in our solutions, keep it modular, reduce technical depth that we would have to resolve later. So we would avoid implementing a solution that that is quick and easy to do now, but hard to change later. We want to stay away from those and recommend things that are, I wouldn't say timeless, but who certainly can hold their own for a good amount of time. Right, and so that's here the AI Tech Audit process. We start with an initial call. It's like 15 minutes where we talk to the client. We see does their mindset align with ours, because if we in this initial little prep call, we see they're not really ready to implement anything, they're just looking around, it's probably not worth also our time to do this audit with them, because then nobody's gonna really get anything out of it. So we're trying to already align incentives beforehand to maximize not only what the client gets, but also what, of course, we get out of it, because in the end, we can't live off of free AI tech audits. We do this to provide value upfront to the customer. So they are incentivized to continue this business relationship with us, to do follow-up project or further technical analysis of their process. Right. Of course, now we're going to assume that we are perfectly aligned with our customer, and it's in everybody's interest to proceed with the AI tech audit. So then we would schedule 2 meetings, one for the actual interview and a second one to present the results. And those should be within 1 week of each other. So we do the interview and figure out what the biggest pain points are for the business within their workflow. We record the call, we make a transcript, and then we have several prompts that help us together with the notes that we take. So we have the transcript from the call and we have notes that we take. We unite them, we fuse them together, we put them in the prompt, and this already gives us a rough outline, a rough summary, rough grouping of the steps in the business process, in the business workflow. And from that, we have other prompts that would generate us a flowchart similar to this one here. And of course, between each step, we edit, we augment, we add information or take information away that the AI might have missed or fantasized about. So our process is already AI based. So for that reason alone, you could call it an AI tech audit if you wanted to. Right. So in the end, what we get is a roadmap. And I think last week I already showed an example. It looks, in the end, looks something like this, just a high level view for now. I will go over this in detail in another video. But essentially, you get the high level business workflow. It's this thing. And then we come up with, based on this and the pain points and the notes that we took, we come up with our process, our suggested process. Based on our technical expertise, we have done a bunch of technical projects. We've done a lot of web development, and we also have very strong technical partners. If we can't do something, they can. And that's how we are able to recommend solutions that are not just fantasies and nice to haves. They are things that we actually can do right now. So we focus on things that we can immediately implement, so we can create value for the customer right now. Right. And hopefully at the end of the presentation of our roadmap, of our suggestions and recommendations, the customer is enthused with what we presented, and will consider going into either a deep dive analysis or a follow-up project tackling one of the solutions that we suggested, because there's usually multiple pain points, and we come up with potential solutions for each one of those. And then we rank each of these solutions in the presentation with the customer. We do it kind of a Eisenhower matrix type thing, where we rank the solutions by impact on the business. Based on the call that we already had, the initial interview with the customer, we already estimate which solution will be the highest impact. Often we're right, sometimes we're not. So instead of giving the customer, saying to them, this is your highest priority, we check in with them again at the end in the presentation. So also increases engagement with the customer. They can tell us, actually, we think this other thing is, this other solution or this other pain point is higher priority than this other thing. Of course, we don't tell them beforehand what our thoughts were on the prioritization of the solutions of solving the pain points. We let them rank it first, and then we have our internal ranking, and we can adjust for next time. So we learn something about how to evaluate the importance of solutions we offer. Because sometimes also the client is not 100% sure what is most important to them. They go through this process with us, they see all this information, they see it mapped out in front of them, and then this little exercise opens their eyes, and then they can say, okay, actually, I thought this over here is my biggest pain point because it's most prevalent, but actually the biggest lever is this thing over here. So this guarantees that at the end of the presentation, we can provide next steps and priorities that are aligned with the most urgent and most important pain point that the customer has. Of course, this requires that we have priorities and next steps listed out for each solution that we present. Let's assume we have like 3 solutions, then we do 3 sets of next steps. That's just part of our preparation for the final presentation. Right. And this essentially is the process. But there's one last step that I would like to include here, because providing the AI Tech Audit is one thing. We do this for free, of course, and then we go into a deep dive or into follow-up projects. But it's not even our goal to just grab another project and do this one-off project for the client. We want to forge long-term partnerships. So that's through this process, we try to get a foot in the door with like-minded businesses that have a similar mindset to us, so we can provide long-term value. We would try to position ourselves in a way that shows that we are not only good for a one-off project, but we are actually long-term strategic and technology partners that can be relied on, that our clients, our customers come back to time and time again to either do repeat AI tech audits to keep their tech stack on the cutting edge, so to say, depending on what you want to do. Or maybe we could even become part of the business in terms of taking the position of a fractional CTO, for example, taking a stake in the business. That would be the long-term outlook for us, to find other companies that we can enter into a symbiosis with and build out this network of companies that work together, and build this network of companies that benefit each other. And one proof that we have for this is, for example, SwiftBrief. Let me just pull up the website. And you can look at this company real quick. This is a company we have acquired in the past. And this is, as it says here, an all-in-one SEO platform. And it pulls data from all kinds of sources that you would usually use in your SEO workflow to create content briefs, articles for social media, and blogs, newsletters, etc. And this product is being used in all of our other business interests at Nichemates. So all of our clients and all of the companies that we work with, we use this product to produce content that is relevant and interesting for the business, because this is the best tool that at least we could come up with to map out articles so that they will rank high and perform well. Right, including this article, this video. This has been made with help of SwiftBrief. All right. This has been it for this video. Let me stop presenting. And I hope this gave you a good overview of the process and how we arrived there. And if you would like to know more, you can read the article. I will link it down below. And if you haven't watched the last video, I would encourage you to go watch it. I hope I have made it as interesting as this one. And if you are interested in doing an AI tech audit yourself, you can go to Nichemates. That's NICHEMAT.es. A little bit of a weird spelling, but if you just go to, you can also just Google us. If you Google us, we are ranked #1, of course, because we use SwiftBrief to build out our content. So we rank the highest here. You will find us very easily. Reach out to us if you're interested. And of course, leave a like for the video, subscribe to us, stay tuned for the next video. And because in the next video, I'm going to talk about our interviewing strategy, how the interview process is set up, what kind of questions we ask, and why. All right. I hope you had a good time. And until next time, bye-bye.